Alrighty, folks, we are back with the one and only Mr. Adrian Hernandez, where last week he talked about high-end car sales collapsing in Orange County, which has led to also a frozen housing market. Is the top end of the K frozen? Yes, but what should we do about it? I will highlight that I had a conversation with Ryan Pineda and Brian Davila on Friday, and actually I've changed my opinions about who is going to win in this environment. So we're going to talk about that conversation, give you my small pivot, and then we're going to talk about, okay, what the heck do we do in this environment? You ready to go, Adrian?
So good. I love it.
Awesome. All right. Well, let me catch up. Yeah, let me catch you up with what, because last week we talked, and I have believed for quite some time now, the only people that are going to win are kind of my people, right? And we talked about last week, buy better, buy at a discount. And I was under the assumption, and I will admit the incorrect assumption, that kind of wholesalers in my community would do well as well, because they would just, assuming they bought better. But I will tell you, after talking with Brian Davila and Ryan Pineda on Friday, that I now think anyone who has to sell is in trouble in the next 6 months. So even if you buy better, but you rely on the exit, it's going to be a tough 6 months. And that's a little
explain that a little bit more. People hear that and they're like, "Oh, okay, oh, great, buy better." What do you mean?
So buy better again. The only people. So let me just finish the thought, and then we'll go and we'll peel this apart.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I believe there are going to be some amazing deals secured in the next 6 months. Disrespectful offers, follow-ups, truly motivated sellers. That I am certain of, right? Anytime the market is frozen, buyers, or AKA demand, retreat. But at some point, some sellers raise their hand and go, help me, I'm drowning, I need out. So the people that find motivated sellers are going to do awesome. Now, the problem, or the thing that Ryan and Brian helped me understand, is even if you're a wholesaler and you find somebody struggling and you buy it 10 or 15% deeper than before, you still need an exit to realize your gain. And I am now of the belief the next 6 months, exiting cannot be counted on. Rates are going to be higher. War may grow. I mean, all of these things, the stock market might crash. There are all of these things that might cause mom and dad, the home buyer, to retreat. So I think even if you buy better as a wholesaler or a flipper, let's say you buy it 20% deeper as a flipper, but you still need that exit in 4 months, that's risky. So the only people that are winning are buying it 20% lower, setting up 30-year fixed rate financing, stacking inventory, because this market will turn. The spring selling season will be here. I think the chances of having no third spring selling season are pretty low, right? We had tariffs and then we had war. Like, what's going to happen next time? So that's where I am at now, is if you're in my community buying for cash flow, long, thinking decade, 30-year fixed rate debt, we're going to get deals of the lifetime in the next 6 months. So that's now what I think after talking to those two guys.
Interesting. Yeah, and I could see that, right? And I can see where, but I guess that's where disposition comes into place, and having a good, strong person looking for new buyers every day that are looking to buy and hold, that are looking to hold and keep, and those one-off new flippers that think that this is the best time to flip. You can buy my house if you choose to. That's on you. I'm not going to force you to, but if you want to buy it, I will sell it to you.
Yes.
Right. So I agree with you, and I agree with what they're saying. I think that's where you just got to get better at your craft, get better at finding better buyers.
I agree 1,000. The environment that we're going through for the next 6 months is very much like the 6 months after Jerome Powell said pain is coming, right? A lot of people, including yourself, we did shows on this years ago, were losing a lot of money, right? Because you were in deals before that happened that you unfortunately had to exit, when pain was coming. Ryan lost 7 figures in that environment. So Ryan's not touching that stove again, right? He's not doing flips now. He had 20 flips going at that time and they all lost money, or at least most of them did. So yeah, anytime you have to exit in the next 6 months is rough. But again, if you're wholesaling and you're just controlling paper and maybe you have a 500 EMD on the line, so be it. But yeah, focus on disposition. That's going to be the hardest part of this cycle. Not like I think your acquisition team is going to be cranking. It's the dispo team that's the most important at this point. They got to be rock solid.
100%. Yep. And finding you. And that's what I'm really excited about. Like, you know, I hear all this, I hear this, and I've been talking to a lot of different other buyers too, and different investors. And I had a good call with Thatch Nguyen last Friday and his community. And I mean, just number over number, right? Like last year, our average per deal, Zuber, was 52,500.
Net.
And yeah, today it's 38,833.
Okay.
Right. So same amount of transactions, but we're down. What is that? 13,000. Yeah. Well, actually more than that. It's down quite significant. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing that across the board. However, I'm also really excited because there's going to be a lot of people that take this and they allow fear to stop them from taking action. And they're going to leave a lot of market share available to those that are taking action every single day. I'm actually, you know, last week we had the conversation. Some of you could have seen my face. Like there was a little, you know, I got a little fearful. I was a little like, wait, hold on. And then we got out of the call, and then I stopped and I realized what a great opportunity for everybody right now who can believe in that.
Yeah.
Right.
Let me put some numbers behind this. And again, we have history. And again, I think the 6 months are going to be very similar. So going into the 2022 crisis, collapse, loss, the wholesale industry was on fire. And there were thousands of these people. Let's just say there was 100 in your market, just to give you guys scale. So there was 100 people flipping in or wholesaling in Southern California. By the end of 2022, there were so many losses, and it was so hard that you were probably down to 40, right? So you went from 100 to 40, all the fly-by-nights, all the easy money, all the grifters gone, right? They're Starbucks baristas now, but you have 40 people. And then, oh, by the way, 23 comes, 24 comes, it gets a little better. You're not making 52K, but you're making 38K. You can pay your bills. You're doing okay. Boom, another hard season. So what I think is going to happen in this hard season of this 40, by January or February next year, you're going to have 15. And then, to your point, those 15 are going to be operating in an environment and feel like it's a buffet because you're going to have your choice. And yes, by the time you go from 40 to 15, your average per deal might go from 38 to 29 or 27. But by the time you get to the next season of this, you're going to be back at 65 or 70 because you're going to have no freaking competition. That's what's coming.
So good. And I get excited when I hear that. Like I really
You
do.
should.
And for everybody, like you guys, the winners get excited in this marketplace. We really do. Now, yes, you got to navigate a little bit differently. Sorry, guys. I have no idea where that is coming from.
I don't hear it, so you're good. Oh, now I hear it.
Now they're all going off. That's how
people,
you know that.
People are calling you to sell their home.
Yes, they are. That is exactly what it is. So I love it. That's funny.
Okay.
All right. Sorry about that. So yeah, I get excited, but don't get me wrong, guys. You have to pivot, right? There has to be moments of pivot. You know, we talked about dispositions. You got to be able to look for new buyers. There's always going to be new buyers out there. And then for those of you that are buying too, I'm actually really excited, Zuber, like you said, for some of those really great deals for those that can hold, right? For those that can hold and hold for a good amount of time. I'm really excited for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I will remind everyone that these environments we're in and going through are where I've made most of my wealth because I've always been the buy and hold guy. So I can always go in and when everybody's running away and go, oh, I'll take that one and I'll take that one and I'll take that one. And then I hold for 3 to 5 years. And yeah, that's what's coming. Again, you got to have the right attitude. So again, the thing I would tell folks going into the cycle is if you already have commitments out, as I think I said last week, make sure any L's are small. Don't let your ego cash checks that your bank account can't. All right. So take the small L's, reduce the surface area. I would also say this is not the time to try brand new channels, right? Lean into what's working, double down probably on what's working. I would probably spiff or incentivize disposition over acquisition at this point, because I think you need to incentivize the hard part of the cycle. And I would not spiff them for leads. I would spiff them for closings. Right. You gotta pay to play. And yeah, I would just get ruthless the next 6 months, because this season will end. I mean, if you haven't figured out now, we've been doing this on the channel 8 years. Real estate has cycles, but they don't last long.
No. And that's another thing I'm getting to, right? It's like 20. How long did 22 last?
2022 was really painful, like for 9 months.
It was like 9 months, right? It wasn't. Yeah. And then it like bounced back fairly quickly.
Yeah. Well, basically what I saw in people like yourself, Ryan, Jason Pritchard, lots of people in my Omar, you guys had a bunch of L's, but they were deals done before Jackson Hole, right? Nobody knew that Powell was going to go to Jackson Hole and say the world's different, pain is coming. So you had 6 to 9 months, you had a season to do some cleanup. But then once you got through that, all your, the competition went from 100 to 40, and you're like, holy shit, this isn't as bad as I thought it was. That's what I read.
Right. Interesting. What about agents? So that was really good for any wholesalers or flippers that just listened to that. Zuber just gave you some really good gems there. Like really good. What about for an agent, right?
Yeah. So agents, again, when you think about agents, you have two sides of the equation, the listing and the acquisition or purchase. For listing agents, because again, where I'm at with listing agents is I would almost not take listings on what I'll call wish pricing. Right. They're going to want you, especially in Orange County, right? Because I got to imagine you sign a contract, you got to take photos, you got to do flyers, you got to do this, you're spending tens of thousands of dollars for these 7-figure homes. But if they are not willing to talk about a real market moving price, you're just wasting your time and wasting your money. Right. So I would get more aggressive on having hard conversations about real numbers. So that's what I would tell listing agents. And then buying agents, again, it's not about having interested buyers, because I'm hearing about record cancellations. And it's not actually cancellations because they don't want to do a deal. It's because they found a better deal, right? They lock up your house because, they haven't been able to do it for 3 years, but 3 weeks from now, they find a better one and they cancel yours and they move over there. So you just got to make sure your buyers are locked in.
So good. I love that. To the listing point, guys, I would build in price reductions. That's what I heard when
upfront conversation. Yeah. Build in a timeline, right? Yep. Schedule. Yeah.
If we're not getting offers in 30 days, we need to do this. If we're not getting showings in 30 days, we need to do this. If we're on the market X amount of days, we need to do this. Very good. Very good. Would you say being able to really educate a consumer, let them know what the marketplace looks like versus just shooting at whatever number they want, the education is more important than just shooting at the number?
I think this is the time agents need to earn their money. And you've got to be able to communicate with data that the market is changing. Days on market up, listings down, or showings down, right? You've got to set those expectations, because most homeowners, they look at Zillow and every homeowner thinks their house is special. And if you're not doing your job as the professional in that relationship, you're going to have a very unhappy client in 2 weeks.
So good. I absolutely love that. And I asked that because I'm not seeing enough education with data. Matter of fact, I have agents still going off of comps as of 60 days ago. And
completely different market.
Yeah, we can't do that. We're not in that market. So then to that point, right, run comps as of today and adjust 10 to 15. Would you say 10 to 15 or 15 to 20?
Again, I think each house is different, right? Orange County is very special, right? I think the closer to the water you are, probably 10, and the more inland you are, 20.
What about Fresno?
Fresno's at least 15. Yeah.
At least 15.
Yeah.
Okay. So inland markets, 15, more higher markets, 10.
Yeah. And again, it's really hard, right? Because Orange County's got those special unicorn properties,
right? Which,
will always sell.
Right.
But most of you don't have those listings.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny we're talking about this. I was talking to a guy named Jeff. He's a old time wholesaler. He's about 70 years old.
Oh, damn.
Wholesaling for 35, 40 years, right? Before wholesaling was wholesaling. Friends with Mike Cantu.
Oh yeah, I know Mike. Yeah.
So, friends with Mike Cantu, like that whole circle, right? I noticed there's like a SoCal circle.
OG, yeah.
And they're all OG, right?
Yeah.
Well, one of them happened to be following my career, and he reached out, and we've been talking quite often. And even he's like, dude, he's like, it's very interesting to see. He's like, I see all these different home buyers, and he goes, but I see more of them leaving than I see them coming.
Yeah.
And he goes, I've seen this play out before. And it's funny because everything that he was pointing to and talking about yesterday is in direct alignment to what you've been talking about. Mm-hmm. So it's really good. And I'm really excited. What for anybody that may be just ultra fearful about this, just, okay, I hear you guys. I hear you. Okay, you're excited. I'm not excited. A matter of fact, I'm scared. And I'm not talking about me, but someone listening in. What could be some...
Well, I'll give you my opinion. I'd love yours. Mindset is certainly more your bailiwick than mine, but you know, I hear that enough in different instances in my life. And I think the first thing you need to do as an adult is figure out why. Usually there's baggage or some story in your history of that. Second, I think social media has a way of making people scared. And unfortunately, it's a lot of their own doing. I could probably pull up, like, if you came to me and you said, no, I get it, I know you want me excited, I'm not. I bet if I grabbed your phone and I pulled up Instagram or YouTube, all I would see is doom and fear. If you suck in one drop of poison, that's on you, right? Be an adult and realize that you're doing this to yourself. You should be looking at nothing but positive and action taking and opportunity. Your phone, like there's this old saying, like, show me your friends, I'll show you your future. At this point, show me your phone and I'll show you your future.
I was going to say that. I was going to say, turn off your damn Instagram and Facebook. Because that's like, I've mentioned before, that Opal app.
Yeah.
I now moved it from 7, 8, like it just doesn't go. I have to actually go on and go through a sequence of events for me to open up my Instagram for 15 minutes. And all I got is 15 minutes and then it locks again. It's the best thing I've ever done, Zuber.
Nice.
It's a bit, because what I've noticed is like, even when I am having a stressful day and I get on this, it just completely heightens that level of stress.
Exactly.
Right? If I'm fearful and I get on this, it just heightens that level of fear. Right? And so you guys, what Zuber's saying, it's a tiny little drop. Like it's what would we call something so tiny but yet so strong? Like, isn't there something like tiny, and if you hit it, it like blow up, it like blow, like that is how we have to treat this.
It's thermite, folks. It's thermite. Yes,
thermite. There we go. That's the word for it. It's the tiniest little thing will cause an explosion, and it caused an explosion up here. And I'm so glad you said that, because I've personally done this as an experiment, guys, and my entire mindset has changed by staying off of social media.
There you go. So that's what I would tell folks. Again, folks, I think we really need to start understanding the old saying of show me your friend, I'll show you your future. It needs to be show me your phone, I will show you your future. I think it's that simple.
You need to put that in a little quote.
There you go.
Throw it up on the IG page.
There you go.
So
Adrian, where can people find you?
Guys, catch me on Instagram at Adrian Hernandez. Keep your foot on the gas right now. Now is the time. Let's go.
Let's go.